going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Oregon is headed to the Super Regional. Big Ten champions, your Oregon Ducks.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Duck Insider on a Tuesday. Ryan Milano here with you with some brand new news. A brand new Duck at the helm of the Oregon Volleyball program. Congratulations to Trent Kersten, who takes over as the new Oregon Volleyball Head Coach, coming over from Loyola Marymount, where he took that team to the NCAA tournament, was Conference Coach of the Year last year. On today's show, we will break down his hiring, what he brings to the Oregon table, because it is Athletic Director Tuesday, and Val Johnson, who was part of the process of bringing Trent Kersten in to Eugene, will join us on the show coming up shortly. Also on today's show, Coach Melyssa Lombardi previewing Oregon softball season as the Ducks are just 3 days away from first pitch. They start their season on Friday. Early in the morning, a doubleheader against Buffalo and Southern Utah as the Ducks are in the UNLV Desert Classic to get things started for their 2025 softball campaign. Whew. Also, on the women's golf front, things are happening in Palos Verdes, California. Things are going absolutely wild for the Ducks here in round number 3, as Oregon is currently 11 under par with just about 2 holes to go. Oregon, after shooting 9 over in round 2, have put together the best round of any team in the tournament to this point, as Oregon is moving forward, currently in second place in the standings, and have created some separation between themselves and everybody else. It's Southern California at the 1, and then it's Oregon at the 2. I mentioned Val Johnson's going to be on today's show. Val Johnson entering into studio. Come on, Val. Come on. I've got some questions for you. It's a big day here in Oregon athletics, because I walked into Val's office a little bit behind the broadcast. Yesterday, I walked into Val's office just as a broadcast, interview rundown of what do you want to talk about? What's going to be going on? And I think the word perfect was said.
It's perfect timing.
Perfect, maybe 10 times.
At least.
It's
At
the
least.
perfect day to have Val Johnson on. Athletic Director Tuesday, Deputy Athletic Director Val Johnson here with us. Val, it's
great
a perfect day.
It's always a great day to be a Duck, but it is an extra amazing week to be a Duck.
Welcoming in new head volleyball coach Trent Kersten into the program. Just first off, just the whole whirlwind of the past few weeks, how the whole thing happened. How did it go down?
It's so great. First and foremost, it's always hard when you have a coach depart. It's always hard. But like I always say, every change bodes great opportunity, and we are so excited to welcome Trent and his amazing family here. It's been a whirlwind. I'm running around, really helping him get situated. I was actually just coming back from the travel office. We're hoping to get him here this week, so he can come in and really be embraced by our Duck community. But it's been a whirlwind. These things happen very fast. We are very fortunate because as University of Oregon Volleyball, when you're in that elite group, you get a lot of attention with a lot of really, really high caliber coaches. We had a fantastic search, and had the opportunity to really get to know a lot of fantastic coaches, and Trent really just rose to the top. I mean, he's a phenomenal coach. He's done a great job with turning around some programs very quickly, and I think the thing that's the most testament to him, he's just an amazing person. He's a great guy, great family, and he is going to be a great addition to our Duck family.
Tell Duck fans a little bit more about him, just first initial impressions of him. What made him stand out as someone who you wanted to bring to Eugene, be part of this?
Well, the joke with our search committee is the first thing is when we were on the Zoom, and he's probably going to kill me for saying this, and his wife will laugh, is, when you have that first question about, like, just tell me about yourself, that I guess it's even the Joey Mack question of, and I don't want to steal his thunder because hopefully we'll have him on here soon, is, tell us about yourself. And he's kind of giving us his background, and I won't tell you much about it. But the joke is like one of the first things he said, and he did not say this in kind of a ego way. He goes, well, I'm 6'10", and so as a volleyball coach, he definitely has a presence. So when you say what stands out, he stands out when he enters a room. But, I think with him, it's, one, he's very humble. He's very gracious. And he has a great personal story as well. Just his playing career at UCLA. He'll tell you a little bit more about that. I don't want to steal his thunder, though, because it's great hearing it from him. But he has done a great job of just recruiting really great talent to historical programs that have always, I think, played beyond what people think that they should have. And any coach that's able to do that stands out in our eyes, because when you do that at a place like LMU, for example, where he's coming from, is that they're going to get here to a place like Oregon that has the resources or the brand that we have, and he's going to be able to take those same baseline foundation skills, apply it here, and really be able to get some elite talent that we've already have that foundation. So he's coming into a place with a very strong foundation. He's bringing his skill set, his background, and he's going to apply it here and really be able to continue to do some great things here for the Ducks.
I'm glad you bring up his height, because we were talking about it. We might need to get a new chair. I'm not sure. Fit in the chair.
Yeah, he's a tall one for sure, but he's a gentle giant, so to speak, until you put him out on the court.
I, for one, along with all the Duck fans, are looking forward to meeting him, getting acquainted. Trent Kersten, new volleyball head coach. Just take me into the hiring process. When did it start? What does the hiring process look like when you are going after a new head coach of one of the programs? Yeah,
I would say each program, every sport has its own personality. A football search is very different than even like we just recently went through a soccer search. Each sport has its own personality. I think when, obviously when you're here at the University of Oregon, the brand supersedes things. So you're always going to attract very high caliber, high talented coaches. I mean, no matter what. So you definitely get a lot of phone calls. I've been talking a lot. It's a good thing that I'm not shy. But it does get to the point where you're like, I've talked a lot of volleyball in the last 2 weeks. But it's exciting. And so, fortunately, in working with our previous coaching staff, we had been in open conversations, as that process was going on. So once that starts happening, you start really developing your list. And fortunately for us, we have a very strong network of volleyball coaches, not only here in the Big Ten, but obviously our former Pac-12 counterparts as well. And then just regionally and then across the nation. And so people, they don't hesitate to reach out and give you recommendations, which is great. And then there's the people that we know personally. And you just really get on the phone, you start talking to people, assessing their interest, and then from there, those conversations develop. And then you keep kind of proceeding through those phone calls, leads to some Zoom, calls, so you could put a face to a name and dig a little deeper, and then you bring folks out to Eugene. And much like our coaches talk about the recruiting process, is once you get them here on campus, I mean, that's when the conversations get easy, because as we all know here, there's nothing much that compares to stepping on campus in Eugene. I will say those blue skies did not hurt too much the last couple of weeks. It was just a beautiful time to be in Eugene. And then, what we have going on at Matthew Knight Arena, and a huge shout out to that staff. They went above and beyond just to make sure that everything was, set up and really so they could showcase the awesomeness that we have over there at the arena, really welcome them, walk them through of how we do things, and I think our people, how we are as just a community is really what makes it stand out here. And then the next piece is our fans. Fortunately for us, a lot of the folks that we had talked to had been here to play, and whether it was for a preseason tournament, postseason, even a conference, match, they've already had experienced it. So that was kind of nice that anyone that we had talked to already had some sort of background of knowing what it meant to be here and play in Matthew Knight Arena, and already experienced how special that was.
Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Women Administrator, Deputy Title IX Coordinator here with us, also the sport liaison for both women's basketball and volleyball here at Oregon. Do you feel like a head coach almost when you are going through this process? Like, do you get to sort of step into the shoes of a Dan Lanning and a Dan Altman for a second?
Not at all. Hats off to our head coaches. I will never, ever take that title. I am there truly to assist. I'm not even an assistant coach. I'm there in a supporting role. I am there to hopefully make their jobs a little bit easier every day. And that's the thing, like even, on the phone when, we're talking to, Trent, Coach Kersten I'm here to hopefully make his days go a little bit easier. I mean, today it was an eye-opener for him. Today was a Big Ten annual meetings for volleyball coaches. They were joking. They're like, you might want to put off that press release one more day. You might have been able to miss these annual meetings. But even that, we tag teamed, and those meetings started at 7 a.m. our time today, and he was able to log on and introduce himself to that esteemed coaching group. I mean, that's the best in the country, is that Big Ten group of volleyball coaches. And so he was able to log in, meet that group and be on this morning for the beginning of those calls. And he had to hop off to start doing some duties on our end. And I stayed on until I needed to get in here and try to do some things. And so we're just tag teaming, right now as he's getting his feet underneath him. It's been a busy 24 hours for him, and he's been doing a great job. But my role with our head coaches, and whether it's Coach Graves or now Coach Kersten, is to support them and help make them as successful as they possibly could be on the court.
Talk about the prestige of the Big Ten Conference. This Oregon program has had a lot of prestige in years past, continuing to get to postseason, get deep in postseason, hosting in postseason. How much a part of continuing this program trajectory was in mind when making this hiring decision and going after Coach Kersten?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and everyone knows this. Whenever there's a coaching transition, there's always going to be change. I mean, everyone knows how the transfer portal works. We've lost a few of our outstanding student athletes in the portal. It's just the nature of how this works now. And we're aware of that when we're making a hire too, because we want to make sure whoever we have come in is going to have those national, international, of course, regional connections to really rebuild a roster. And that's really what he's doing right now. I'm like, you go get on the phone, I'll go handle my thing. And that's why this hire was so important, to find that right fit too for Oregon. And so as we're doing that, we want to make sure that they're well positioned to do that, to keep that success going. And there will be a rebuild a little bit. I mean, we see this, in any program. I mean, if a lot of people remember with like softball, that's what we had to do with softball too. And look at the success Coach Lombardi's having.
Coming up on the show later.
Oh, fantastic. That's a perfect segue. So, yeah, I mean, and you see that, and that's just what happens anytime there's a coaching transition. And I think in this new landscape of college athletics, we see it a little bit more. And you need to be able to have a coach that's able to quickly and agilely adjust to it. And we're fortunate that that's what we found in Coach Kersten, and he's able to do that, and that's what he's working on now. And, we've adjusted to that, and we'll see that, and we'll support him through that as he's building, his program here with the strong foundation that we already have in Oregon volleyball.
Val Johnson with us, looking to get Coach Kersten into studio as he continues to get settled with all of the different things that come with being a new head coach of the program. But what else should fans know about the hiring process? Is there anything we missed about the hiring?
No, I think that's really it. I mean, just know that it was a very competitive search. We don't take these decisions lightly. We always make sure that when we are going out, we find the person that fits our mission and values, and really that has the heart of our student athlete as their number one priority. and of course wanting to make sure that we have a championship experience all the way around in everything that we do. So that's what, when we go out and we search for these head coaches, that's what we're looking for, is we want to make sure that they are winning championships, not only on the field or the court, but also in what our student athletes are doing day in and day out.
Val Johnson with us, just hired a new volleyball coach, but women's basketball season is in full swing. Big games coming up at Matthew Knight Arena. We're breaking down where women's basketball is at and so much more when we return with Val Johnson. Coming up next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Not busy at all. I got nothing going on right now. I was supposed to be in Michigan with him last week, but I didn't go.
Back here in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano here with Val Johnson, and we're talking some women's basketball now. Oregon Volleyball making the new hire, getting Trent Kersten in as the new volleyball head coach. Just broke that down in segment one. Now it's women's basketball because we are in the throes of season. And Val, I got to tell you, Oregon women's basketball is playing pretty well lately. They have taken down some top opponents and especially defended Matthew Knight Arena. I want you to talk about just the fan environment in Matthew Knight Arena and how Oregon, on the women's basketball side of things, has been able to capitalize upon that. That's so big to get the fans in, watching a team that's playing some pretty strong basketball.
Well, as we all know, when you're playing at home, these Duck fans, it's what makes it's what tips the scales for us. And I mean, we see it already. I mean, with on the women's side, it's what's helping us. And as we keep seeing it in nearly every single headline, it's just gritty. I mean, this women's team is so gritty. There's a few pieces, I'm sure, when you have Coach Graves in here, he would like some few pieces to be put together, maybe particularly in that first half. That'd be great. But they're gritty, and they don't give up. They play well together on any given night. It's anyone's game. We have that strong, you can't even call it a bench. It's so crazy. It's like on any given night, you don't know who your starting five is going to be. You don't, and it's so much fun to watch them. But that fan environment is really what keeps them going. And that team will tell you the same thing. Those players will say it every night, when they come off the court, that those fans, they can feel that energy. When that, when they get possession change, a turnover, that shot goes in and the fans come alive, they feel that energy. And so kudos to the Duck fans. I mean, that's what keeps them going and really preserves that home court advantage.
I'm curious for you, what's different now than a year from now? Because the fans know last year wasn't the way that the program wanted to go, wasn't a successful season. This year, it's been a strong season for Oregon women's basketball. For you, what is different for you from last season at this point in time to this season at this point in time?
Again, you never know. And it's the nature of this business that we work in. Sometimes it's just who you have on the court, who's your player composition. You never know. And I think our coaches really made a keen effort last year in the off season when they went recruiting. They were like, we're going to win recruiting. And they have. We see it with the players that have come in. They not only picked individual players, but they built a team that works really well together, and they are so much fun. Off air right now, I was saying, like, as exciting as it was last week to go through the volleyball search, the flip side of that coin was I was going to travel with them to Michigan, and I didn't get to travel with them last week, so I was back at home cheering them on, and that's always hard because I love going on those road trips with the teams just because it's just so much fun. But it's a great group. It's a phenomenal staff, and it's a great group of student athletes, and the support folks that are around them are great. And when all those pieces really come together, you start seeing a season like we're having right now.
You missed out on a little bit of snow. That was the scouting report from Sarah Rambis. Yep, she'll be on the show coming up later in the week. But the fun that this team is having, you just touched on it. That's kind of the thing that's been said about this team, is that when they're doing shoot-around, they're having fun. When they're not at the arena, they're having fun. Just the ability for this team around, like off the court, you get to see them off the court. How much fun do you have watching them have that much fun?
Well, it's the mom in me. Let's just be honest. It's why I do the work that I do. There's a lot of parts of the job that are not glamorous. There's a lot of parts of the job that are really glamorous that people think, oh my gosh, you guys get to do X, Y, and Z. And then I always say there's just the day-to-day. And the day-to-day is what makes it the best job in America. I spend my Wednesdays at the arena, especially with being the sport admin for volleyball and women's basketball. It's the day that I get to go over and watch practice, and I take my meetings from there, and I just get to be around the team and the coaches. Those are the days that fill my cup. And because those are the days that you really get to know the coaches and the student athletes, get to know just kind of the randomness of their lives and their days, about really who they are. And it's just a lot of fun. And the basketball piece, the volleyball piece, it seems like that's their whole life, their whole identity, but really in the big scheme of things, it's probably like this much of it. It's just something that they're really good at, that we all have the privilege of getting to see it done, night after night on a very public spotlight. But when you're around them day to day, you understand that, yeah, it takes up some of their time, but it's not necessarily what defines them. So I think by having that lens into their lives, it's pretty special.
Women's basketball, they've got some big games coming up. For fans, why should they be out at Matthew Knight Arena over the next few days to watch Maryland, watch UCLA, and some top 25 matchups?
This is a plea. Well, I don't know what camera's live right now, but come on out. You got to come out Thursday, Sunday. Make Sunday. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Yep.
Is that what's happening this Sunday?
But it's right before. You should
come on
get
out.
of there for the
That's
game.
what I'm saying. Make Sunday your sports day. You got Maryland, who I think is 15 right now. Are they still 15? I've been a little busy with volleyball, so
16.
I think 16 now. Okay, come out for that. That's Thursday. You're talking like the best women's basketball is happening here in Eugene at Matthew Knight Arena, which we know is one of the best arenas, if not the best arena in the country for hoops. You need to come out for that. And then you got number 1 UCLA coming in, and your Ducks are hot, and they're hot at home. So this is like the place to be, not only for women's hoops, but women's sports in general and basketball in general. It's one of those things where it's like sometimes I get baffled. I'm like, what else are you doing right now besides coming to Matthew Knight Arena? Like, I don't get it. So it's a great thing. Bring your family out. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. It's not going to be bad. So, I mean,
it's certainly not going to be bad inside Matthew Knight Arena.
It's always great. You know, we know for sure it doesn't rain in Matthew Knight Arena. Like, we know that for sure. That is a guarantee. And so come out. I mean, support this great team. They're so much fun to watch. But it's fun. It's a great environment. Our marketing team does a great job with it. It's fantastic. And I guarantee you will see some phenomenal basketball. And this is a pivotal time. We're on that back half of our conference season. So we got this, I think we're at home 3 in a row. We got these 2 and then 1 more at home. So this is a critical time for our women's team, and this home court advantage is huge for us. And so I really hope that people will come out and support our team.
You talk about all the things that you've been up to, new volleyball hire, women's basketball, so much more. Part of your incredibly long business card is that you're also in charge of student-athlete development, and this time it's crossover season, and so part of that development is academically for the student-athletes. I want to give you an opportunity to highlight the academic staff and just the job that they do, especially at this time where winter sports are going, spring sports are starting, how they get all these student-athletes in control of their academics at this time of year.
Well, and again, I play a supporting role in all of this. I mean, the people that make that magic happen are all over at the JQA. I actually just ran into Katie Harbor. She is in charge of all of our student-athlete development with her staff. They do a phenomenal job with just all of the programming for our student-athletes to prepare for, life after. They just hosted this phenomenal women's symposium. They did a great job with that, partnering with our Women in Flight program. And then also, like you had alluded to, our JQA academic staff, our student support staff there. They are the ones that are really the ones making this happen. I always say there is no athlete without the student part. You are not doing this without the student part. And speaking even of the volleyball search, I mean, to be able to have, someone like, Coach Kersten come through and us walk him through the JQA Academic Center is one of those things that you cannot mimic many other places. And to show all those services that our student athletes receive, not only from the academic support part, but the student athlete development, and then also our behavioral health support, those are the things that really take our student athlete experience above and beyond. Because again, much like I alluded to, that athletic piece that's happening on the field and on the court, it's like this much. We know that they need to have, all these other elements wrapped around them to truly help them be successful. And those are the people that make that magic happen.
It's that time of year. Spring sports, winter sports, everything's going on. I feel like we touched on a lot. Did we miss anything?
Oh, I'm sure we did, but it's like, they always say the holiday season, this is the most wonderful time of the year. I mean, we got softball rolling here, baseball starting to roll, indoor tracks going. They're going to transition into outdoor here in a little bit. Men's and women's tennis is going. It's a great time of year.
When it rains, it pours, just not inside Matthew Knight Arena. Deputy Athletic Director Val Johnson with us. What a perfect interview. Perfect day to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Val Johnson here, getting to Melyssa Lombardi, coming up when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Back here inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you. Just talked with Val Johnson. Just got a new volleyball head coach. Head coach of Oregon softball entering into year 7. Melyssa Lombardi just talked to her earlier this morning. Let's get to that conversation. Game week. Oregon softball is getting ready to rock and roll. Missy Lombardi joining us. Coach, we were just talking before we got on air. The level of anticipation. Just take me through the last month, how the anticipation has built. How ready are you to get things rocking and rolling?
I'm ready. It is time. Our team is ready. January, you can look at January 2 ways. You can look at it that it's long and just a lot, or you can look at it as an opportunity to have 1 month to really put things together on and off the field before the season starts. And I think our team has done a great job of looking at it as such a blessing and opportunity for us as individuals, as a team, to get that month to really prepare for what's coming.
Can you sense the players on the diamond ready to pitch to someone else and hit off of someone that's not part of this staff? It just, this time of year, it's got to be like, oh, we're just playing ourselves so much. Can you feel that palpability to play a different opponent?
Yes. This group, they'll kind of laugh and go, wow, I can't wait to see our pitchers dominate somebody. I can't wait to see our pitchers. I can't wait to see our hitters do what they're doing, against us. So definitely, there's times during practice where I'll remind our group, you guys, we're all on the same team. Like, imagine when we all come together, because in the month of January, somebody's leaving practice not happy. We always talk about who wins. Does the pitchers and defense win that day, or do the hitters win that day? So somebody's walking home, going home, not happy if they weren't the winner, which I love. So now to put that together this weekend, I'm really looking forward to it.
Let's talk about the offense first, because in this version 7, it's a different group for your offensive lineup. It's a bit of a younger group. Just take it as a whole, the entire offense in its totality. What does the offense look like it's going to shape up to be once we hit the field coming up on Friday?
I think it's going to be a nice balanced offense. I don't think you're going to see us win one way. One, our speed is ridiculous. Every single person in our lineup can run, and coming off the bench, we've got excellent speed as well. So that 100 mark for stolen bases, we are going after and expecting to get to. I love at the top of the lineup and on the bottom, we've got slappers that can power slap, soft slap, bunt for a hit, just whatever the situation is needing. They're able to do that and give different looks to the defense and work together. And then to see through the middle of the lineup, just really good, high average and then power as well. So I think you'll see that high average. Des coming in this year has got really, really good power. Seeing her looking maybe in the 3 spot. Steph, she's a freshman, same thing, just really powerful. So what I love is the middle of the lineup is going to really be able to cash in and, produce a lot of RBIs, because I'm confident with the top and the bottom of the lineup and them getting on base.
Last year's such an experienced group. With experience, you got to send some players off and welcome new players in. I want to talk about the catching position, because over the past few years, Tara McGowan as the backstop, Emma Kauf as the backstop. What are some of your options behind the dish this year?
We've got 5 of them, and they all do a great job. So I think about Bracy Rosa last year. She was an incoming freshman and behind some older athletes. So last year was a year for her to really learn and have an opportunity to really grow behind the dish. She's got an excellent arm, right-handed hitter. She's got sneaky pop. She turns a lot of balls into strikes. I really love how she receives behind the plate. Emma Cox, same thing. Incoming freshman, receives really well. It's got a good bat. It's got good power. Trinity, same thing. I really love how they all receive, which I think is the number one thing as a catcher that you've got to be able to do, because there's pitches that you need to be able to turn into strikes, and then if you don't receive well, you're potentially taking strikes away as well. So I love what they do behind the plate. They all communicate really well and have power at the plate. So I like our different options that we have.
On the infield, some seniors from last year, Alyssa Daniel, KK Humphreys, departing the program, taking over in their positions as well. The options on the infield that you're continuing to bring in this season.
Yes, we've got some good options on the corners. With that, I think Des could play on the corners. Remington, Abby. Goodness, I just think we have a lot of different options. K-Dub, she's pretty versatile to play on the corner or play a middle. Same thing, Katie Flannery. I think you'll see Paige, our Golden Glover, at shortstop. But even though we have a lot of new faces, I think just very, very talented on the infield. Like, you'll see that. Like, I think our defense wins championships, and I think we've always been known for our defense. So I think you'll feel the same way this year, just different faces.
I'm glad you mentioned Katie Flannery, because last year through conference play, it felt like she got better and better and better as the season went along. Now that you've got a whole offseason with her, how have you seen that development continue to grow leading into this season?
Definitely. She's grown a lot. You think of last year, she didn't start, and then she was kind of in and out of the lineup, moving from third to second throughout the year, and then she finally solidified herself. And so I think just the maturity that comes along with that and the growth defensively, offensively, I think you'll feel her even more this year as a leader. And just, she's got those at-bats under, her. She's got all that time that she played on defense, especially in the end. So I think she's going to be great for us.
Talked a little bit last week with Joey about some of the newcomers on the pitching staff, but returning on the bump, Elise Sokolski, getting her back for another year, just how she's looking leading up to the season and the opportunity for her to come back and lead the staff this year.
I'm really excited for Elise because she came in kind of banged up a little bit. In her first year, she ended up having to redshirt because she just couldn't get healthy. Last year, she started to figure things out. She started to get healthy, but it took throughout the year for her to get healthy. You could just see, she got more time as the year went on, and then she just got stronger and stronger because she was healthy. This year, she's completely healthy and has those innings under her belt from last year. And I think you're going to see some really good things. She spins the ball. She has great location. She can move the ball up, down, has just a devastating changeup that is coming, and you're still going to swing through it. It's tough. So I really like that. She has grown a ton on the mound, has become a great leader for us. So I'm anxious to see what she's going to do this year.
Speaking of staffs, your staff, the coaching staff, just get fans back and reacquainted to your staff this year and just the work that's been going in throughout the offseason, get the players ready for what's coming up on Friday.
Yeah, I think I got the best staff in the country. What I love is that our athletes can relate to our staff. Sid, she's still playing pro ball. Coach Alyssa would be playing pro ball if she didn't have a bum knee, but, same thing. Like, she hits fungo and hits the ball out of the park. So does Coach Martyr. So it's just for them to be able to train our athletes, but to then really understand, the little things that go a long way and the feels that go along with it. I think it's allowed our athletes to really come along quicker. Coach Rowe, she'll take ground balls, she'll hit live. She has her training for pro, and so it allows her to coach them, but then also coach them in a way of being right next to them and getting the reps that they're getting.
You talk about Coach Romero drafted to the Athletes Unlimited, the league that's going to continue to go and start up over the next coming months. And just so impactful to have a staff that can not only teach but also show at the same time. Are there any times where you'd say, players get off the field, it's only coaches right now, we're just taking reps ourselves?
Yes, they would be like, yes, let's go. So, no, it's good. I love that. I think it's important that they're able to give the technical aspect, but then also can give them cues with feel and then also demonstrate. I think it goes along. We are all such visual learners that to be able to give that visual as a coach, I think goes a really long way.
Speaking of coaches, your former coach, Patty Gasso, news announced yesterday that she's named to the head coach of the Team USA team that will be playing in the Olympics in 2028. Just how great is that for the game of softball? And to see a coach that you coached with and you have such a tight relationship with be able to name head coach of that program, just how big is that for the game as a whole and USA softball as a whole?
I think it's really big. I think Coach is excellent, what she does on and off the field. You can just see, when she came to Oklahoma, nobody even knew a whole lot about Oklahoma softball, and then what she has done there, and now to have that opportunity to do the same thing on the highest stage, the biggest venue in softball. I think it's great for the game, great for her, great for the athletes that are going to be coached under her. So I'm extremely happy, proud, not surprised. I know she's going to kill it.
It's going to be great to watch in 2028, USA softball being played in the LA games. Softball will be held in Oklahoma City at the College World Series venue. It'll be absolutely fantastic. But your team gets going much, much sooner because it is game week, and you're getting geared up for the UNLV Desert Classic. First off, just some seniors getting to go back home. The Lushar sisters, Paige Sinicki, getting to go back to the state of Nevada. That's really cool.
I think it's important. The one thing that we work really hard on is in the 4 years that our athletes are here, that we want to give them a chance to go home and play in front of their family, friends, extended family. We travel really well. Our parents come to a lot of our games, but it's hard to get everybody to come that wants to see you. So to be able to go to them, I think is really important. So I love that we're opening up at UNLV for those guys.
Well, and it would be a shorter drive for the Sinickis. I remember Chuck Sinicki, Paige's dad, telling me a story of how they almost every weekend used to drive from Nevada to California for her club ball. So getting closer to them, making a shorter drive for them might save them on some gas mileage as well, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, no, they're excited. We have a big team dinner that we're doing at their house to kick off the weekend, and it's going to be a great weekend.
Just the overall tournament as a whole, being able to play some non-conference opponents, get the season started. Buffalo at 10 a.m., Southern Utah at 12:30. That's how you kick things off on Friday. But just the whole tournament as a whole to kick off your season. Just what do you want to see in order to kickstart what is going to be this 2025 campaign?
I think with this group, just they've worked really hard this fall and winter of really understanding like their identity and who they are as a team and how they want to operate on the field and off, which I think off is even more important than on. So they've put the time in to this season, this upcoming season. And so we talk a lot about having the ability to start fast and finish fast. And I'm just excited for them. We talk a lot about let's reap our harvest, and I want to see them reap their harvest. They've put in a lot of work from day one, us showing up on campus. So it's time to reap.
Coach Lombardi getting started. 3 days, 5 games versus 3 teams. What else should fans know before you get the first pitch off and start this season?
I think we got it. I think it's just time. I think for everybody, it's just time to play. So
we're rocking and rolling, ready to go. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Melyssa Lombardi getting their season started on Friday early, 10 a.m., first pitch against Buffalo as Oregon kicks off what will be a 3-day, 5-game, 3-team series this weekend in the UNLV Desert Classic. It's going to be a fun softball season. Also starting on Friday, Oregon lacrosse, getting caught up with Oregon's head coach Jess Drummond when we return. After this, I'm Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this way?
Back in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon lacrosse getting their season started on Friday, 5 o'clock against Butler at Pape Field. It's going to be a busy Friday. I know that I'll be at Pape Field. I know that Oregon softball will be in Las Vegas. I know Jess Drummond will also be at Pape Field. She previewed the season, met with the media yesterday. Oregon lacrosse head coach Jessica Drummond.
Everyone, super fired up for the season. As you know, going Big Ten, it's going to create very fun, exciting, different opponents for this year that we haven't seen. And yeah, we're excited for the challenge. Big Ten is an elite conference, and we're excited to be able to be competing in that conference.
What's the process over the last few months of really making that adjustment, getting into the weeds, the nuts and bolts of how different this season's going to be, rather than kind of just the initial impression that it left with you?
Yeah, you know, we faced Rutgers last year, and it was a close battle in the second half. Losing that game kind of ramped up the competitiveness of, like, you know, this is what we're going to be facing every game when we face a conference team. So just going in with that mentality of, you know, pushing ourselves to compete at that next level, attacking everything, and, you know, really taking advantage of the time that we have out on the field together.
Anything you've picked up from other coaches around the department that have kind of been through it a little bit over the last few months that might be helpful? I mean, do you guys talk amongst yourselves even about that, really?
Yes and no. You know, I feel like I should probably get out there more to talk to other coaches, to ask them, like, hey, Dan Lanning, what's it like winning in the Big Ten? But, you know, I think for lacrosse, it's so different. And with that, it's just, again, like, we really talk about focusing on ourselves and, you know, like, it's going to be different in an exciting way, and the only option is to move forward and push this program forward. So
you're without Morgan McCarthy, of course, this season, as well as a lot of other notable graduates, but you also brought in 9 freshmen in this off season. So how are you mixing that new talent with old talent like Simmons and Jenkins, and how are they kind of relying on each other to get ready for this play?
Yeah, you know, it's been super exciting. I feel like we've got just such great talent coming back this year, and everyone's going to be competing for fighting spots. So it's exciting to see, you know, a Morgan leave a legacy and have others kind of follow in that path too.
You had a lot of players also play internationally in this off season. How do you think that helped prepare them coming into this season?
Yeah, it's such a different perspective, and having 2 coaches go out and play also international this past winter break, and bringing back that knowledge. And so it was really exciting to be able to see them compete. And so, you know, see your leaders do it and actually like what they're saying going to play, and being able for the players to watch them compete was pretty exciting. And, you know, again, like an awesome learning opportunity for our players.
With all those freshmen you're bringing in, just what have you seen from them in terms of development since kind of started practicing to now?
Yeah, again, like we keep our practices at a high level of competing. And I talk about this every week of like no spots guaranteed. And so to have that mentality week by week, it really creates such a competitive drive in practices. And, it doesn't matter if you're a first year on this team or you've been here for a senior, like really working hard to compete for those spots. And so I think that gives awesome incentive for our first years to come out and compete hard. So I'm excited to see what they've got in store for the season.
You have a lot of great options in terms of for the goalie position. You have Cassidy, Paige, and then Kate, I believe, is the new freshman coming in. Is there any word or idea on that and how that position is going to be filled?
I know. It's just, to me, again, like we talk about week by week, it's just going to be a battle. And I love how supportive they are. We call it goalie world, and they're just constantly supporting each other and that hype for one another. We just had a scrimmage and they all got playtime, and it's just exciting to hear them screaming their heads off for each other on the sidelines. Just so proud, no matter who plays in that game. Everyone's got the support and backing of the team.
Coach, I wanted to ask about, you're entering the Big Ten. There are obviously a lot of big opponents, Northwestern, Johns Hopkins, and Maryland, that you have to play later in the season, but it's all about how you start. What type of statement are you hoping that this team can make to then enter Big Ten play later?
Totally. And it's been kind of exciting to craft the schedule. So we've kind of ramped up our out-of-conference level of play, so that'll really prep us for come conference. And us playing on Thursdays and Sundays with Big Ten now, we kind of ramped that schedule going down to play, some Pac-12 opponents that we played last year, playing them in a weekend, just kind of playing that strategy of how we can prep them the best to kind of feel it out of conference. So when we come to conference, we've been there before.
How did you decide that was the best way to go, kind of ramping things up non-conference rather than maybe trying to, build some confidence early against opponents you might,
and again, everyone's different, but you really learn from failures. And I think that that's a great way of facing an opponent and feeling really good, whether you win or lose, of we gave it our best and facing them. And we come out that win. We know it works well. If we don't, we take a lot of learning moments from that as well.
What's the culture been like in the locker room for these women, just trying to build this team and go out and be successful for, this later part of the year?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they have to say to that question. But I feel like that people are here for the right reasons, and we want to freaking win. And I think it's exciting to be a part of a new conference and to take Oregon on the map and play at that national level and to be able to compete against, top 10 programs. We've got 3 of them in the top 5. We're going to be competing in our season every single year. So what an exciting opportunity to be able to face that challenge head on. Like I said, our only option is to move forward with this program.
A few new core values this season. You want to talk about those a little bit, what they mean to the team?
Yes. I know. I feel like me being gone for leave. So family, consistency, and relentless. These are our team winning values. The team picks them, they define them, and then each week they pass it off to somebody who exemplifies that in practice. And again, we really let them kind of pick the words. I heard one coach say one time that they don't like the phrase of buying in. And so I think that was kind of interesting to let them be the ones to dictate how they want to lead this program this year.
Jess Drummond talking Oregon lacrosse ahead of their season opener against Butler at 5 o'clock on Friday at Pat Bay Field. Spring season's here. It's going to be exciting. Women's golf, they're out on the course. Actually, not anymore. They're in the clubhouse breaking down the results from what just concluded at the Terry's Hessian when we return after this on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah.
Back on Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Ryan Milano with you, closing out the show, and it's time for the Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. I mentioned at the top of the show, Oregon at the Therese Hessian Regional Challenge down in Palos Verdes, California, how they were climbing up the leaderboards. Well, now the event, outside of just waiting on Miami to finish up one hole. Everybody else is in the clubhouse. Basically, the event is over. Miami not close to Oregon because Oregon is in a solid second place. It was a tremendous early day on the golf course for Oregon golf. After yesterday, the Ducks shot 9 over. It was not the day that Oregon was looking for yesterday on the course. It was the day that Oregon was looking for today. 12 under par as a team for the Ducks. The best team round period throughout the entire tournament in a field that features 6 top 10 teams. Oregon finishes in second place at 4 under par overall. Suvachayeva and Chaitham today led the field as she had a tremendous, well, they started on the back 9, but her first 9 shot 5 birdies and 4 pars for 5 under par, put together a 7 under round, the best individual round of anybody in any round in the tournament. Suvachayeva and Chaitham finishes as 6th overall. She rises 35 spots today to enter into the top 10. She finishes as 2nd on the Oregon team because Kiara Romero, she finished 3 under today, 6 under for the tournament, and 2nd overall in the field. Oregon putting together a really strong effort. 15th overall as an individual. Tong An finishes at 2 over. Tiffany Huang finishes at 4 over. And Karen Suru at 15 over. The Ducks that placed for Oregon in the Therese Hessian to start off their spring campaign. Really great resilient work for Derek Radley's crew. 12 under par in round number 3. On tomorrow on the Oregon Sports Network, well, we're going to be here in the Country Financial Studio. Football Socials will have signing day. Dan Lanning will be here. Coordinators will be here. Football staff will be here. And then we got Duck Insider right after. Bye, everybody. Go Ducks.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatment.